everyone, I'm your host, Akira Quinn, and welcome to a journey of love, growth, and joy, where we dive into the real experiences of motherhood. Today we're talking about something that affects millions of moms everywhere that may go unspoken, which is postpartum. It's a time of joy, but also a time of challenges, changes, and growth. While it's not easy, there's so much power in sharing our stories. It's not all about baby bottles and first-time smiles. There's so much more to the postpartum journey. So let's get started because your story matters and you're not alone in this.
I wanted to be a psychologist is I wanted to understand the human brain a little bit better, understand emotions, how they can play a part in different actions, just to know a sense about self and be aware of others and their feelings and things like that. Self-care can contribute to a mom getting back to herself after postpartum. She can maybe feel like herself again, getting back to the old person that she was, getting dolled up, going outside, hanging with friends. They all can contribute to self-worth in a big way. Transition to motherhood can be very overwhelming. Lifestyle changes can make you feel like your old self has been replaced with this new role. I would give them advice going through postpartum, reach out for support, prioritize self-care, be kind to yourself, and seek professional help if needed. Postpartum can typically occur 2 to 3 weeks after, normally in that first year. The most prescribed antidepressant is Zoloft and Prozac. The doctors can prescribe more or less depending on the mother's symptoms. Black women tend to have a higher percentage based on location, support systems, and other individual factors. It can be difficult to recognize or admit because the symptoms can also overlap the physical, emotional changes, and as well as societal pressures that the mom receives after birth.
That was some really valuable insight on the challenges and emotions many new parents face during their postpartum period. Having a good support system while going through postpartum is always a key factor in many ways to help moms feel like they don't have anyone. Postpartum is such an important and informative time and often not discussed enough. Now let's dive deeper into what postpartum moms have to say. Today I am here with Kaylin Adams and Doriana Lewis. Hi, how are you ladies?
Hi, I'm doing good.
That's good. And going through postpartum, I know that there's emotional and physical toll that can take on your bodies. How do you handle self-care during that process?
Self-care during that process, getting out more, getting some sunlight, journaling. Everyone is different. Probably going to work out and being around people who love and care for me.
And how about you?
The way that I approach self-care, I can honestly say after giving birth was just taking time to myself, getting more sleep, just being able to worry about myself at the moment, making sure that I'm okay mentally, physically, and emotionally.
And I know there are different stages with postpartum. It could be postpartum depression, postpartum rage. Can you tell me which postpartum stage did you ladies go through and how did it affect you emotionally, physically?
I went through the depression stage and it affected me in the worst way because, crying, sad, didn't want to be around anyone and things like that and taking my frustration out on my baby. So that really messed me up a little bit because that's an innocent baby. And I rejected all the help that was people were like, we can help you, we can do this, we can do that. I rejected the help because I felt like, I laid down and have this baby, like, why do you guys want to help me out so bad? So yeah, that's the part I went through.
The postpartum stage that I went through, I would say rage. Being pregnant for 9 months and making sure that I'm well and that my baby's well, not stressing and everything. I had to bottle up so much inside of me. So I couldn't really release that until after I had my baby. I started to get really angry. I started to just see red a lot. Like the only person that can calm me down was my baby. So it messed me up mentally because there was a lot of things that I went through that wasn't that serious to get that angry about. But postpartum rage, I can say it's kind of uncontrollable at times because you'll think like, okay, it's not that serious. I'm not going to get that mad. But then you get this boiling sensation inside that just makes you feel like, okay, I done let so much slide. Now I have to, take action, be outspoken. So that took a toll on me mentally.
Yeah. And do you feel like you had enough support from your families and friends during this process?
Yes, I had a lot of support from everyone around me. it was just my fault that I didn't want to, take that support. But everyone tried, their best to help. They wanted to keep the baby. They wanted me to get rest. And due to me not sleeping, like in the newborn stage, I didn't believe it until I actually seen it with my own eyes. They will be up all night because they think it's morning time, but it's really not. And my eyes used to be red, it's burning, baby is crying, and then once I try to go to sleep, the baby is back up, so yeah.
And how about you?
Yeah, I could say I had a lot of support from family and friends. Around the time my friends didn't have kids, so they helped me out like a lot. My family made sure they helped me out because they went through what I went through already. So they know it's like a learning journey for me, but as long as I asked, they would help. Like, it wasn't no problem.
And what was the hardest part about postpartum?
For me, I'm not gonna say, well, it's just about like my crying. It was just like I wasn't getting no sleep, and that will like irritate you, make you upset and angry, because I didn't even get I can get like an hour of sleep and that's it, and the baby's back up, I have to feed him, and then he just didn't want to go to sleep anymore, and it was just tough for me because I started to get real angry, to the point I'm like, I'm new to this, I don't know what to do. I'm like, the baby isn't sleeping, and everyone always says you need to sleep when the baby sleep. I'm like, I try, but he's back up, and I just didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
The postpartum experience for me was hard because it just made me feel like everybody didn't understand what I was going through, or like they didn't want to try to understand. Like, every mom is different. Some people go through postpartum rage, depression. They go through all these different postpartum stages. So everybody's not the same. Some people don't even go through postpartum. So I just felt like being around everybody, and although I was this angry person, it just made me feel like nobody wanted to understand why I'm so angry. Yeah. Like, what made me angry? Like, what tolls did I have to go through? What did I take? Like, it just seemed like nobody wanted to understand that. So that experience for me it just felt like I was alone. And it felt like I just had to go through that rage by myself instead of just having somebody, just want to understand why I'm so angry.
Thank you, ladies, for all that important information that you gave that may impact moms or current moms going through postpartum. Many of you know that the first few weeks can feel like a blur. And those early days with a newborn can be overwhelming. So let's dive more into what our postpartum moms have to say.
One thing I did when I asked my family for support without feeling guilty was because when it came to my parents, they've been through what I've been through already. So I knew I wouldn't feel guilty about that because they're here to help me. So they're here to help me on the journey that I am. When it came to my spouse, it was a little difficult feeling guilty because it was my first time being a parent. I didn't really know exactly what I was doing. But then there was part of me that didn't feel guilty because it was also his first time with being a parent. So we were just learning together as we go. Challenging aspect of parenthood, I can honestly say, just watching my child grow. She does different things every single day. All children are not the same. So it's not like watching your little brother and your little sister. You have to actually pay attention to your child, know what's wrong. You have to know exactly what to do. And it's challenging because if you're a first-time parent, you're not going to know anything. You're going to have to ask around. You're going to have to research. You're going to have to do everything you can to make sure your child is straight. Some advice I would give any mom that's going through postpartum alone, I would just honestly say, your child will be your happiness. Like, although you're going through what they're going through, you can always just look at your child and say, I made you. I'm going to make sure our life is good, and I'm going to make sure I do everything I can to make sure we are straight. So I can honestly say your child is just going to be your help through whatever you're going through. Yes, taking care of a baby and battling postpartum is challenging because even though you're going through what you're going through, you can't let that affect your child. They shouldn't feel what you're going through. You should always keep those two separate, but keeping those two separate is like two challenges is one. So you're trying to make sure you're straight mentally. You're trying to make sure you don't go off the rails, but you're also trying to make sure that your child doesn't feel how you feel when you're going through whatever you're going through in life. One of the challenges I faced during postpartum was rage. After I had my child, it was, I used to get irritated so quickly. I used to get really mad. Some of the littlest things would just tick me off, and that's just one of the things I had to deal with. I think self-care can fix the battles of postpartum because you always should put yourself first. Like your self-care, your health, everything about you should always come first because you can't pour into your child without having the strength on your own. Some things I do to keep my mind off postpartum depression would be working. I overwork myself to try to keep my mind off of that. Spending time with family because I know I'm around love, and being around my child because she keeps my mind off of it, because as we're learning together, I can see the things that she's doing new every single day. It just keeps me happy.
Postpartum moms are very strong, and that goes unnoticed. Many silent battles and cries can be tough. I know many moms struggle when it comes to finding balance between being there for their babies and taking care of themselves. Have you ladies ever found it challenging to get help without feeling some type of guilty?
Yes, because I was my firstborn and I was scared to ask for help. I didn't want anyone to perceive me as this bad mom, even though I had all the love and support around me. But I thought I could figure it out on my own. And just one day I realized I couldn't do it on my own. Like my sister, like she had the baby for me. I was in the next room sleeping, but I got to sleep for like 10 plus hours, and then I wake up and she taught me like how to bathe him, how to like put a diaper on the correct way, which is like totally embarrassing, but I never like watched kids a day in my life. But she just taught me like a lot, and that was like a big like help from her, and also my family and like my friends before they had kids. They'll like come by and help out and make sure things were all good between us.
How about you, Doriana?
I could say at first I felt guilty because I felt like even though I'm a first-time mom, I'm supposed to be like super mom. Like I'm supposed to be able to do this, that, and the third with my child. I'm supposed to already have everything under control before she even gets here. So when she gets here, it's easier. But it was only hard for me because I didn't want to be portrayed as like the lazy mom. Like, oh, she just wants us to do everything while she just sits back and chill, do nothing. So it was hard at first. I did feel a little guilty. But then after a while, I had to realize like, I'm not in this by myself. I don't have to do this by myself. Like it's a choice if I want to do it by myself. So if I want to get that help and it's there, I should not take advantage of it, but I should be able to, you know, not feel guilty for asking my parents for help, so asking my spouse to watch her for a little bit so I can, you know, go to sleep or anything. So it took a while to not feel guilty about asking for help, but in the long run, it's like when you think about it, if the help is there, take it.
And what was the moment you realized, like, wow, like I have postpartum? Like, what was that moment? Can you tell me how you felt about that?
The moment I realized I had it, yeah, I was crying uncontrollably. I didn't want to touch my baby. I didn't want to hold him. I didn't feel no affection towards him at that moment. And also, like I said before, like I lived in a high-rise apartment. I'm just like, I can just end it all right now. Just looking out the window, and I'm like, I can just like do this, and then in the back of my mind, I'm like, no, you have a kid. But that's how I know something was like actually like wrong with me. And anytime like I'll look at him, I wouldn't say I was disgusted. I was just like ew, like, and crying. And that's how I know something was wrong with me. And my doctor wanted me to speak with a postpartum therapist. So yeah.
At first, I wasn't very well educated on postpartum, like the stages. I just only thought it was postpartum depression. So when I wasn't going through that, I'm like, okay, I'm okay. Like I'm angry, but I'm good. I'm not depressed. I'm not sad. I'm not lonely. But then as I got educated, I noticed that there's different stages of postpartum. And once I realized like the littlest things would irritate me so much, I realized like, okay, I need to figure something out. Like what is wrong with me? So I would search it up. I would look it up, and I would see like, okay, postpartum rage is a thing. And when I read the description on it, I'm like, okay, yes, that's what I'm going through. Because I was just so angry at the time. Like everything, like somebody could brush past me. Normally I just like, let it slide. They said thank you. But it's like somebody will brush past me. I'm like, okay, like, are you gonna say excuse me? Like I'll just get so angry, and it wouldn't even be that serious. So that's when I knew I was going through that.
Yeah, and you speak on like the education part of it. Do you feel like if you had prior education on postpartum before you had your baby, that the process will be a little easier? How do you feel about that, the education part about that?
I feel like it would have been easier if I honestly understood it, because I know a lot of people say, well, you're gonna like before I had my baby, they're like, postpartum is a thing, and at first I'm like, okay, I'm not worried about that. I'm not going to have that. And then when it happened to me, I just didn't understand it. I'm like, why am I feeling this way? Like, what's wrong with me? Like, I really thought I was like having like one of the mental like breakdowns or whatever. But I just wish I had more like education on it, and then I feel like I would have handled it very differently if I did.
So yeah, I can say I wasn't educated on it, but it was talked about. Like my doctors would give me like a pamphlet telling me like, okay, you know, if you're going through postpartum depression, you know, you can just call us, call this number, you know, you can get the help that you need. But they will only talk about depression. They wouldn't talk about other stages of postpartum, because I guess not a lot of moms go through it. The number one thing is depression. So I feel like if I was more educated on it beforehand, I probably would have taken a different route about it. Like I would have sought better help than what I was going through it by myself. So if I was more educated, I feel like things would have been differently.
As your babies continue to go and you navigate your life during childbirth, how do you think your experience with postpartum has shaped you into motherhood?
Well, it shaped me well into motherhood. Like, I love my baby unconditionally, and he makes me happy. He's a very happy baby. I just feel like I went through what I went through for a reason, but it made me stronger. So, I'm trying to think what to say. I'm sorry. But yeah.
It shaped me into motherhood because I didn't think at this young I would have a baby. Like, I'm thinking like, okay, I got a couple more years, I can have my little fun, I can do this, that, and the third. But when it hit me, it's like, okay, I'm pregnant. So I have 9 months to really figure out what I'm gonna do. So mentally, it helped me just think about all aspects in life. Like, oh, when my babies get here, like, what am I gonna do with her? What am I gonna name her? What care am I gonna give to her? So it shaped me good into motherhood, because even though I have that big responsibility, it's I just knew everything was gonna be okay. And then it also shaped me better into adulthood, because it's like, now that I'm grown, mentally I can just, you know, figure everything out.
That's beautiful. One thing many moms talk about is like the idea of trying to be perfect. Do you feel like that narrative, how do you feel about that narrative?
I feel like the narrative is like, it's not a thing because you can't be perfect. Like, you'll literally try to kill yourself trying to be perfect, because I will just say this about this generation. It's a lot of things on like social media, like, oh, you have to be this type of mom. If you're not this type of mom, then you're this, that, and the third. That'll literally stress you out. Literally, like, I'll just say, like, be the mom you desire to be, but being a perfect mom isn't like a thing, because our parents weren't perfect. Like, our parents, they had their flaws and we have our flaws, if you know what I mean. So yeah.
And it's very clear from today's conversation that the postpartum journey can be tough, but also filled with moments that bring out so much joy within a mother. And speaking of joy, we have a heartwarming story warming up about a beautiful mother who's found a unique way to spread joy and positivity after having a baby. I think you all love seeing turning silent battles into moments of happiness.
From the first moment I saw you, I knew my life would never be the same. There was something about you that filled me with this overwhelming love, a love I had never known before. The way your tiny fingers wrap around mine, the way you smile when you see me, it's a joy beyond words. You taught me patience, kindness, and the true meaning of unconditional love. Every milestone you reach feels like a little victory, not just for you, but for me too. Watching you grow, seeing the world through your eyes, it's a gift I will cherish forever. You are my sunshine, my reason for laughter, my heart's deepest happiness, and every day with you I feel more blessed than the last. From the first moment I saw you, I knew my life would never be the same. There was something about you that filled me with this overwhelming love, a love I had never known before. The way your tiny fingers wrap around mine, the way you smile when you see me, it's a joy beyond words. You've taught me patience, kindness, and the true meaning of unconditional love. Every milestone you reach feels like a little victory, not just for you, but for me too. Watching you grow, seeing the world through your eyes, it's a gift I will cherish forever. You are my sunshine, my reason for laughter, my heart's deepest happiness, and every day with you I feel more blessed than the last.
So beautiful. Having your own bundle of joy will always make any mom who feels like they are alone in this so much better, because you guys are not alone and will forever have something to call yours for the rest of your life. Do you ladies have any final thoughts or comments to leave any current parents or mothers going through postpartum right now?
I would like to say it's going to be okay. Take all the love and support that others around you, like just take that in, and don't try to do everything on your own, because you deserve a break as well. And I would say just be there for you and your baby, and the best will come out of it.
I would say take it one day at a time. It's not like, you don't have to rush your life. You don't have to, like I said, be this super mom. If you have the help, take it. Don't take advantage of it, but take the help if you can. Like, if they're offering it, take it. Make sure you have your self-care days, because those are very important. Without self-care days, you probably, like, you just will feel like the world is ending, and it's not. You just have to take those days to yourself. Make sure you prioritize you and your child. Like, don't prioritize anything else but you and your child, making sure y'all have everything you need in life, a roof over your head, food on the table to eat, clothes on your back. As long as you got those, you are going to be okay.
And speaking of self-care, what are some fun things you did during your postpartum journey to overcome this challenging time?
So I journaled a lot, then I traveled a lot. I went to the gym to work out, and I also hung out with friends, because that's important too, to be around people who care for you and love on you. And I just came in more intact with myself. I just did a lot of things I'd never done before, so I stepped out of my comfort zone. So that really helped me a lot. And I started going to church, so starting a relationship with God, that really helped.
Good. How about you?
Things that I did was, I did start going to the gym, started eating healthier. I've did a lot of stuff with my child, when it came to holidays. I'll do arts and crafts with her, because she wasn't really old enough to really do anything. Just to get some fresh air, I'll take her for a walk around the block, or I would take her to the park. Just let her get that fresh air instead of being so isolated in the house, because that could mess you up as well when you're trying to deal with self-care, just being isolated. Even if it's a walk down the street, just get that fresh air, it'll make you feel so much better. So that's what helped me on my self-care journey.
And how does, with self-care, do you think, for me, I love spa days and everything like that. Did you guys ever take any spa days for yourselves?
I haven't. I've probably gotten a massage or something, but I've never just taken a day to just, go to the spa, get my nails done.
Would you recommend it?
Yes, I would. I really would.
I would recommend that, because I haven't done that at all, go to the spa.
Yeah.
But I'll just say getting your hair done, nails done, I don't know, getting a facial, having a whole day like that.
An appearance, making an appearance.
Mm-hmm. Like a mommy makeover.
Yeah.
So.
And that's so beautiful. And then parents that are feeling alone in this, or single mothers, what advice would you give to single mothers out there who doesn't have a partner?
I would say everything's going to be okay, because I was once a single mom, so everything's going to be okay. Take it one day at a time, but don't beat yourself up over being a single mom, because it's okay, even though you didn't lay down and make the kid on your own, but it's not the end of the world. At the end of the day, you get to wake up to a beautiful baby girl or baby boy, and you can really make the best out of it. And just think about the things, think about the life you want your kid to have. How would you, are you raising your kid how your parents raised you, or are you doing your own method? So
That's really good information.
Yeah.
Beautiful. I just want to thank you ladies for coming in and giving us more insight on what you guys go through. You're all so inspiring, and I know this conversation will help so many moms who feel seen, heard, and supported. Remember, it's okay to not have it all figured out right now. It's all a part of love, growth, and joy. Thank you, ladies, for being here, and I wish you all a continued healing and strength.